Hello, welcome to Virtual Wyke Start from the IT department. My name's Kevin Penny and I'm going to talk you through a little bit about the course, why I think IT is a good subject to choose, and also later on we'll do a little sample lesson. So to start off with, within the department there's myself, Kevin Penny. I'm the head of computing and I work alongside Joe Clemis, teacher of computing, and between us we've been at Wyke for over 15 years now, and we've also got about 40 years teaching experience between us, as well as lots of years working in the computing industry and other branches of engineering. So why should you choose to do computing? Well, at Wyke we've had over 100% pass rate for over 10 years, a proven progression route to university and graduate employment success. We've got two options available. You can do it as a single course or as a triple course. So if you're really mad keen on computing, you can do that as your main programme of study. Our success in the past, up to 80% of our students have progressed to university, and with many others going directly into employment as well. And we've got a fantastic record of success in industry beyond university. So why should you choose to do IT at all? Well, recent reports in recent years show that there's going to be a significant increase in computing opportunities, and as we've seen over these last few months, how important IT systems have been in enabling people to stay in touch and work from home. And of course it's people like you in the future who will be working in and developing these systems. So there's plenty of opportunities there for you in the future. So the courses themselves, we've got an introductory diploma in IT. This is a single column course, so you can do this alongside other subjects. It's split into 5 parts. We've got 2 exams, Fundamentals of IT, which is all about IT, how it's used in business, and also it covers some of the technical aspects on how computers work, how computer networks work, how the internet works, and so on. Global information, as the name suggests, is all about the way IT is used to share information around the world and within systems. In application design and product development, you'll get the opportunity to develop a mobile phone app, and also in your second year we'll do a bit on web design and prototyping. So that's the single option. If you're mad keen on computing and you want to do this as your full programme of study, we've also got an extended diploma in IT. This is a triple column option, so this would be your entire programme of study, and it's equivalent to 3 A-levels. So you can see there we've got the same units that you have in the single option, but then we've got lots of other units in there to do with social media, mobile technology, games design, computer programming, and so on. So a wide range of subjects which will prepare you well for university study or for moving directly into employment. Along with this, we also have programs of enrichment, as well as the latest software that you'll have access to at Wyke. We also arrange visits to local exhibitions, local companies, and so on. And as you see there, one of the people we visited last year was at the Tech Expo at the Bonus Arena, and our students met Titan the robot.
Star Command, Titan the robot. Mission log, Stargate 4703. Just landed at this strange planet. Inhabitants appear friendly, but there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hey, you! What the heck are you staring at?
And as for success, fantastic success from our students. Very proud of all that they've gone on to do. Lots have gone on to university, as I've said, and progressed into jobs as graduate engineers. And we've also had students like Joe here who've progressed directly into employment and higher advanced apprenticeship schemes. So we'll just take a while now to listen to Joe himself about his experience of Wyke and progressing into employment.
I got a triple distinction star in extended diploma in IT, which means I can go and take on the apprenticeship at British Aerospace, which is a sponsored degree as well, so I'm really happy.
It's all credit to Joe, not only in his ability and his hard work, but also in his character, that applying to universities, he received 5 university offers, 3 from top Russell Group universities, as well as at the same time applying for a higher apprenticeship at the Systems.
Kevin and Joe were both extremely supportive whilst I was studying at Wyke. They always gave us some great feedback and the teaching styles were great. They let us get on with what we'd need to do because we'd get a set assignments, but if we needed help or any more assistance, they'd do special lessons on what we had to do to achieve the assignment criteria.
We put our current apprentices through a foundation degree at East Riding College and then a final year, top-up year at Hull Uni to complete a degree in software engineering. At the same time, they spend 4 years with us working in a blue chip company, developing aircraft software on Typhoons, Hawks, programs. It's a very challenging course and it's very rewarding.
I learnt a lot of programming skills at college. I learnt a lot of C# whilst in college, which helped me greatly with a lot of testing, because the testing that we do here is C# based.
Joe is a very worthy winner of this award. He is one of the very best students we've ever had on the course at Wyke. It's a tough course, it's a challenging course with lots of technical content, and Joe excelled throughout the course. His commitment was second to none and solid throughout. Joe is a very worthy winner of this award and we wish him every success in his future career.
So, just to recap then, what it's all about really is you developing the skills at Wyke and moving on to great success in the future. And there we've got a list there of just some of the companies that our students have gone on to work at. Most local companies within Hull and East Riding of Yorkshire have employed Wyke students. You can see there, you might recognise a lot of local companies and also some national and international companies that our students have gone on to succeed with. Okay, so that's all about our actual course. So what we're going to do now is have a little sample lesson, and we'll hopefully see you all in. Hello again, welcome back to Virtual Wyke Start from the IT department. If you've watched our introductory video, you'll know that one of the units that features in there is web design. So what we're going to do now is just a simple little exercise to show how you can create a website. Okay, the software we're going to use is nothing particular other than just a simple text editor. So if you're using a Windows machine, that'll be Notepad. So if you search for Notepad and open that up, if you use a Mac, then you can use a program called TextEdit. So all these are simple text-based applications that we can also use to create websites without having to go to the expense of buying expensive software like Dreamweaver. Okay, so if you want to pause the video while you open Notepad, and then we'll continue. Okay, so here we are in Notepad, and like I said, it's just a basic text editor that we can use for writing simple letters, or in this case that we can use to create an actual web page without the expense of expensive software. So what a web page is basically is just a load of text that a browser can actually create a web page from. So all it is really is a set of instructions for the web browser to display the information you want to display, and that can be text, images, videos, and so on. So we start off by instructing the browser which version of HTML we're using. Okay, and we do that by typing .type HTML. And you'll notice that's inside sort of arrows, chevrons, which are known as tags in web design, and these are instructions to the web browser. So what that one line says is that we're using the latest version of HTML, which in this case is HTML5. Okay, so all web pages should start with that one line, and then the actual page itself starts with another tag, HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, which is the language you're using now to create the web page. So for the browser, this is the instruction as to this is where the web page actually begins. And for this particular tag, what we also have then is a closing tag at the end of our web page, this time with a / in and HTML, and that's our closing tag. So anything we put now between those 2 points is what the browser actually converts into a web page. Within this we have 2 sections. We have a head section and once again a closing tag. Now within the head section, this is usually where we place instructions as to what we want the actual browser to implement. So this can include things like any styles we want to apply to the web page, any JavaScript if we're adding any interactivity, and so on. One of the common things you'll have in here is a title tag. And what this does is it actually puts the text that we put in here in the title bar of the web browser, and we'll see that when we come to view the web page. Okay, so this is usually the title of your web page, so this could be Welcome to Wyke, it could be BBC, it could be Google, or whatever. Okay, and then the main part of the actual web page itself is known as the body. So anything that we put inside this body tag that I'm adding now is what will actually appear on the web page. Okay, so those are the main parts of a web page. So all web pages have these sections. So this, if you like, is a skeleton of a typical web page. We define the doc type HTML. We have the head section where we can put specific instructions in as to how we want the web browser to display the page, and then the body section is where we actually put the content, the pictures, the videos, the text, and so on. So within the body, what the usual practice is to do is to split up your text into paragraphs, just as if you were writing a letter or a book. And we do that by using the paragraph tag, which we define with a P, and within there we can type some text. Okay, and if we then put a closing paragraph tag, that will actually separate that text from any other text that we're putting in there. And then if we want to write more paragraphs, we just do the same again. Okay, so anything that you want to put in here, anything that you type in here is what will appear in the user's browser. Okay, so what we can do now is we can have a look and see how that actually appears in a web page. So we're going to save this now. Now normally in Notepad, pages of what we've typed are saved as .txt files, text file. What we want to do in this case is we want to change this so that it's recognized as a HTML web page. Now the normal practice is for the first page in a website, the home page, to always be called index. Okay? That is because web servers are set up to actually send this back to a user whenever they type in a web address. So that's the common practice, to call it index, and then if we put .html. Okay? So if we save that now, and then if I was to look at this page where I've saved it, okay, you'll see there it is. That's the page that I've saved, index.html, and you'll see because I've called it .html, it's now recognized as a web page. So if I double click on that, then you can see there, that's what our web page looks like at the moment. Okay, mentioned before about that title and what that represents. You'll see there, welcome to Virtual Wyke Start, and you'll see that's appeared in that tab at the top. Okay, so that's what the title is for. That appears in the title bar there, so when you've got multiple tabs open, you know which page is which. And at the moment we've just got 2 paragraphs in there. You can see that because they've defined them in paragraph tags, they're actually separated out and well spaced out as you'd like a document to be. Okay, so if we go back to our web page now, other things that we could add to this, if we want to highlight a particular piece of text, or if we want to make it bigger, make it look like a heading, we could change these paragraph tags to headings. Okay, so if I change that first one there from a P tag to a H1, which means a heading 1, the biggest type of heading we can have, and if I save that now, and if I view our web page again, refresh it, you'll see changing that has actually increased the size. And there are various headings, heading 1 down to heading 7, if you want to highlight a particular piece of text. Okay, now one of the common things that you'll have in web pages, one of the things that make them most useful, is when you have links either to other pages or to other websites. We can define that, a link, by just simply using the A tag. So this means the A actually stands for anchor, but what it's actually used for is to actually divert to another page or another website. Okay, so we put in the address of where we want our link to go. So href is the hyperlink reference, and in here we put in the full address, including that HTTP protocol name, and then the full name of the web address or the web page that we want to go to. Okay, and then we close that tag off, and then what we need is we need some text to appear on the screen that the user can actually click on. So in between the opening and closing tag, we can type in here something like click me, visit Wyke, or whatever, and then if we close that off, that's how you create a hyperlink. Okay, so once again, if I save this and view the page again, you'll see there we've got our link, and if I click on that, that should take us to Wyke College. There we go. Okay, and then if we hit the back button, it goes back to our website. Okay, so we've got a couple of the main features in there: text, links. Now another common feature that we have in websites is to actually display a picture. Okay, so if we want to display a picture, we use a tag called image, okay, short for image. And then what we do is we define the source of that image, okay, SRC, short for source, and then we put in the name of an image. So what you might want to do now is pause the video, go and look for a suitable image. It can be anything you like. Save it into the same file, into the same folder rather, where you've just saved this web page. Okay, so save it into the same folder and then make a note of its name. Okay, in this case I've got a picture of the Wyke logo, which is called wyke.jpg. Okay, so if you want to pause now, get a video and get an image rather, save it into the same folder and then start this video again. Okay, another thing that we should always put in here is an alternative text. Now the reason we do this is two reasons really. In the olden days when we had slow internet speed, putting pictures on a web page could slow it down greatly, particularly when you had old dial-up connections. So there used to be the facility to switch off images to stop them downloading, and in the place would be displayed just a description, some text describing what was being displayed. Okay, so this was known as the alt text or alternative text. What this is also useful for is also making sure that your website is accessible to people who might be partially sighted or blind, and what will happen then is their screen readers will actually read out whatever text you've put in there. So in here you just have something that describes what that image shows. So in this case it's just a picture of the Wyke logo, so I'll just type that in. Okay. Okay, so that's how you add an image into a web page, and once again we will just have a look at that. We'll save it again, have a look at our web page, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so we've got text on there, we've got a picture on there, we've got a link on there. So we've got really the main features of most web pages. Other things we might put in there are audio clips, video clips, and so on. Okay, you'll notice at the moment that that Visit Wyke link and the picture appear on the same line. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually force that to be visible on a new line. So at the end of that link there, we could just put in a break tag, and what this does, it just means that the next line will actually appear on the next line. So just to see what effect that's have, if I save it now, refresh, you'll see it's on a new line. Okay, so those are the main building blocks of creating a web page. Now the other thing that we might need to do is to add a bit of style to this, a bit of colour. We might want to change the font. That font's not a particularly good one for readability. So what we're going to look at now is how we can actually add style into our web page. Once again, this is what this head section is for at the top. Okay, so this is where we can actually apply styles to the page. So by styles it means things like colours, background colours, colours of text, applying different text styles and so on. And we do that by using a tag called style. And once again we have a closing tag. So within here, whatever we type in here can redefine the look of our page. Now one of the things we might want to redefine is the actual body of the document itself. Okay, so within the body, that means we can redefine things like the background color or the font style that the entire page is going to use. So we can do that by typing body, and then one of the things that we might want to change here is background color. Okay. Now there are various ways that we can define colours. We can use particular named colours, and there are quite a range of different name colours which I'll show you later. So typical colours might be red, yellow, okay, or there are some particular named colours like hot pink. Another one that gives a slightly off-white colour is one called blanched almond. Okay, so there are various named colours that you can use here. Another way of actually defining colours, if you want an exact colour, you can use hexadecimal number system, which is a number system that goes from 1 to 9 but then continues A, B, C, D, E, F, and we can use this to actually define how much red, how much green, how much blue we want to mix together to create colours. So for example, we could have a colour defined like this, so that would represent the red, that would represent the green, and this would represent the blue part of the colour. Okay, now I've no idea what that colour is, I've just done a guess there, so let's see what colour I've made up there. Okay, so I'm going to save it again, and let's have a look at the page, see what that's done. Oh, right, so sort of bright purpley pinky colour, and you can play around with these numbers to create whatever colour you like. So there's possible millions of different colours that you can do if you want to define a specific colour. Alternatively, like I said, you can just use name colours. Right, and if I save that again, okay. And of course, rather than using name colours, using that hexadecimal number system means you can actually refine it and get it to exactly the colour you want. Okay, which is useful if you want to do things like match exactly corporate colours if you're creating a website for a company. Okay, like if you wanted to match exactly the colour of that white purple. Okay, so like I say, there are lots of different colours you can use, and I'll show you somewhere where you can actually find out the different named colours as well as being able to define the different colours using hexadecimal. Okay, the other thing we might want to change is the actual font style. Okay, so we can define more than one style for a particular element simply by putting in a semicolon like there, and then we can put in the name of a font that we want to use. Okay, this is known as font family in web design, and a common font might be something like Arial. Okay, you'll notice here as well that that spelling of colour there isn't a mistake by me. It's the American spelling of colour, because that's where a lot of the technology that we use in programming comes from. So whenever you see the word colour, you'll see it spelled without the U. So let's just save that again, and once again have a look in here, refresh, and you'll see that's quite a good change in the font there, a lot easier to read. Okay, so we've changed the style of the body of the document, so that colour yellow applies to the background of the entire web page. Font family changes the font for every single element within that. We can also be more specific and set styles for other elements. So for example, if we wanted to change how all our headings look, once again here we could use colour, and if you just use the word colour, that refers to the actual foreground colour or the colour of the text. So once again we could use a named colour. So if we wanted all of our headings to appear as blue rather than the standard black, then we can change it there. Okay, so once again, if we have a look and see what that has actually done, you see there, that heading has now turned to blue, and if we were to put any other headings in there, they would also turn to blue as well. So what we've seen there is how you can create a web page simply by using free software that comes with Windows, Notepad in this case, or with a Mac. It comes with TextEdit, which is the same thing. Okay, it's looking a bit difficult to read at the moment, this web page, so what we could do, it's always a good idea to use indentation. Okay, so you could actually use the tab to actually indent these to make it look a bit easier to read. Okay, so indentation is seen as good practice in programming and web design, so I'm just using the tab key there to actually indent, and you'll see that makes it easy to read. Okay, so well done if you've followed that. You've created your own web page, your first web page, and we've seen there how simple it is. What I'll show you in a minute is a useful website if you want to explore a bit more of this, and how you can add other features like videos, interactivity and so on. Okay, so if you want to experiment a bit more with this, I suggest you go to a website called W3 Schools. Right, so if you want to learn a bit more about web page design, follow the Learn HTML. Okay, so in there's tutorial. It covers some of the things that we covered there, but goes on to show you lots of other examples of how you can actually lay out web pages. I'd also just suggest you look at the section on CSS as well. We've actually done a bit of this here. You'll see that style section that we did there. That is known as cascading style sheets. Okay, that's what the CSS stands for. So you can have a play around with that one as well. So work through the HTML section, the CSS. Those of you who are into programming, which is included in our courses, might also want to look at the JavaScript as well. Okay, so I hope you've found that interesting. Other things that you can look out for in the folder where you've found all this information is we've included some transition work, some online courses that you can follow, so they should be useful to help you prepare for when you come back after the summer. Okay, so we'll leave it there, and I hope you all stay safe over the next few weeks, and we hope to see you all at Wyke in September. Okay, bye for now.